In this video, you will join me on the process of how to write a formal email of complaint or request. But what is a formal email of complaint or request? There are many reasons to write emails. In reality, they are usually formal, since emails are a great and faster alternative to letters. One reason to write a formal email is to complain about something or request something. Usually, whenever you write formal emails in which you complain or request something, you're addressing them to large companies, directors, headmasters, or any other important officials. You're reaching out to them because you have a problem with one of their products, something they said or did, and you want to resolve that problem. So the situation could be, for example, like this. You ordered a pair of breeches from an online shop. The brand is quite new and rather expensive, and you expected to get a pair of high-quality pants for horseback riding. After wearing them just twice, the sewing started coming apart. Disappointedly, you wanted to return the breeches, but the shop's policy says that you can't return anything after it's worn once. Write an email of complaint in which you describe the situation, explain the problem, and suggest a solution. The structure of a formal email of complaint or request is usually the same. We start off with the addressee, the person or company your email is addressed to, as well as the subject. So, what's the email about? Then you continue with the salutations. The salutations are polite. We usually stick with a simple Dear Mr. or Dear Mrs. In the introduction, you provide a quick overview what the email is about. In the main body of the text, you outline the problem and the reason for your mail in more detail. You may show the company how angry and disappointed you are, but always stay polite. The conclusion is probably the most important part. Here you tell the addressee what you want them to do now. You provide possible solutions. In the signature, we're again very polite. Okay, let's get started. The beginning is easy. We are addressing the company. ehorse@ridinggear.com. The subject of the mail should summarize it in a few words, but don't put full sentences. I chose unsatisfied with product, but you could also just put complaint. We don't really know the names of the people working in the back office of eHorse Riding Gear, so it's the best to stick with a Dear Sir, Madam. Before we get started with writing the main body of the mail, let's quickly talk about the characteristics of formal emails. Of course, they are polite, so don't use any colloquial language and no contractions. A good tip is to use passive constructions, especially to criticize something, to make it appear more polite, as for example, the phone was broken, or in the text there was mentioned. Formal linking devices, like however, therefore, after, and set phrases, help you with structurizing your formal writing. Okay, but now it's finally time to get started with the introduction. In the first sentence, you state the reason for your writing. This is what I meant previously with using set phrases. It's always good to have one or two sentence starters in mind. Let's start with a straightforward sentence. I'm writing to complain about a pair of riding breeches I bought from your website last week. Then we continue to talk in more detail about what you did and what the situation was like. Here it's important to use all the information you got in the prompt. Of course, you can always invent some new information, as for example the exact name of the product or some other details which are missing from the prompt. So I continued. Impressed by your advertisement for high quality writing gear on Instagram, I decided to have a further look on your website. After carefully comparing different products, I decided to buy the Superflexi navy blue everyday breeches in size medium. I was led to believe that at the price point of $170, I would receive a high quality product which would last me at least 2 seasons. I also mentioned linking devices earlier. After is a good one to use and give a little variety to your sentence structure. In I was led to believe, you use a passive structure to make the accusation appear more polite. In the main body of the formal email, you state the problem in detail. Explain the reason you're writing to them. Again, there are a few useful phrases and sentence starters you should always keep in the back of your mind, so you can apply them in your text whenever necessary. Unfortunately, this was not the case. After only wearing them twice, I realized that the seams were coming apart on the inner thigh. Needless to say, I'm disappointed by the quality of your product. Worst of all, there is no possibility of returning already used products, according to your website, even though the breeches I received were clearly flawed. So the sentence, unfortunately, this was not the case, is a good one to keep in mind as well. Needless to say, I'm disappointed by, and worst of all. The last paragraph is probably the most important one. Here you can again mention how disappointed you are by the service of product. Most importantly though, you must give some suggestions for a solution. For our case, my 2 solutions are either a refund of the money or a new pair of breeches. Also try to give a reason why the problem should be solved. Here I wrote that I believe that it should always be possible to return products which were damaged after using them properly only twice. So the whole last paragraph is, I was looking forward to these breeches, but now I'm highly disappointed by the product, as well as the poor customer service. Returning a damaged product should always be possible, especially when the damage happened after using a product only twice. Therefore, I believe that I deserve either receiving a refund of $170 or a new pair of the same or similar breeches. I look forward to hearing from you soon. With kind regards, Sally Winter. I was looking forward to is another sentence to imply your expectations. Therefore, I believe that is a nice introduction to what you want your company to do now. And I look forward to hearing from you soon as a good last sentence, since it implies that you're expecting an answer from the company and a solution as well. And that's already it. Before handing in your formal email of complaint, make sure to proofread it. I hope this video made future writing a little bit easier for you.